Hello everyone and welcome to our explainer. Today we're going to talk about something very important, mental health. Specifically, we're looking at something called anxiety. Anxiety is a feeling of intense worry. It's incredibly common, but sometimes it can become a serious problem. I'm going to explain everything step by step using very simple, clear English so you can fully understand exactly how this works.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here are the 6 simple steps we'll take today. 1. What is anxiety? 2. When it becomes a medical problem or a disorder. 3. Understanding PTSD. 4. Understanding OCD. 5. Anxiety in older people. And finally, 6. How we treat it. Let's get started.
Section 1. What is anxiety? The body's alarm system.
Now think of a huge building that has a fire alarm. If there's a real fire, that alarm rings super loud to tell everyone to run, right? Well, your body has an alarm system too. Anxiety is just a feeling of worry or fear about the future. When you worry, your brain actually turns on your body's alarm. Your heart starts beating really fast to pump blood, and your muscles get tight. It's getting you ready to run away. It's actually a completely normal and healthy system that's built just to protect you.
But there is a really important difference between fear and anxiety. Fear is when you are scared of a real danger happening right in front of you, like, say, a wild lion. You see it and you run. Anxiety, on the other hand, is when you worry about a danger in the future, like a big test at school tomorrow. There's no lion in your room, but your alarm system tells you to prepare and study. Both of these feelings are completely normal.
Moving on to Section 2, when anxiety is a disorder, a broken alarm.
So this brings us to a big question. When does normal, everyday worry become a real medical problem? And this brilliantly illustrates the difference. Normal worry might make you feel scared right before a big test, but you know what? You still go to school, you take the test, you keep living your life. But an anxiety disorder is like a broken alarm. Imagine that alarm ringing loudly every single day, even when there's absolutely no fire. A person might feel so scared that they cannot even leave their house. When the worry completely stops you from living your normal life, that is when it becomes a medical problem.
So why does this alarm break in the first place? Well, scientists say 3 simple things come together to cause this. First is biology, meaning our body and the genes we get from our parents. We might just inherit a very sensitive alarm system. Second is psychology, which is about our early life. If life was very hard when we were babies, our brain learns very early that the world is a dangerous place. And third, specific events. For example, if you saw someone get very sick, you might learn to be terribly scared of germs. When these 3 things combine, the alarm can break.
Section 3. Understanding PTSD, the mind reliving trauma. So you might be wondering, what exactly is PTSD?
Let's break this down into very simple English. PTSD stands for post-traumatic stress disorder. Post just means after. Traumatic means a terrible event, like a bad car crash or a very scary storm. So PTSD is a lasting problem that happens after this terrible event. The mind gets stuck. Even though the person is completely safe right now, their mind feels like the bad event is happening all over again, right in this very moment.
There are some very clear signs when someone is dealing with PTSD. First, they might have very bad dreams, which we call nightmares. They literally see the bad event happening while they sleep. Second, they're always watching for danger. They might jump or get really scared just from hearing a loud noise. And third, they avoid places. If they had a car crash, they might completely refuse to ever get inside a car again. It's like their broken alarm just won't turn off and it keeps them trapped in the past.
All right, let's move to Section 4, understanding OCD, unwanted thoughts and actions.
So the crucial point here is understanding 2 big, important words, obsession and compulsion. An obsession is a scary thought that comes into your head and simply will not go away. For example, a thought that your hands are covered in deadly dirt. A compulsion is the action you feel you absolutely must do to stop that scary thought. So you wash your hands to try and make the thought disappear. OCD is what happens when these thoughts and actions completely take over your life.
Now, as you'll see here, OCD is not just some small, quirky habit. It can be deeply destructive. This tragic newspaper story recently showed a father who actually harmed his family because the stress of his son's severe obsession with cleanliness just became unbearable. When fear traps someone like this, it causes really deep pain for everyone around them.
So what does OCD look like in everyday life? Well, first, it could be washing hands again and again until the skin is actually red and bleeding, all because of a huge fear of germs. Second, checking locks. A person might check their front door 20 times before bed because they are terrified someone will break in. Third, ordering things. Someone might need all their shoes placed in a perfect, strict order. If someone moves even one shoe, they feel terrible, overwhelming anxiety.
Next up is Section 5, Anxiety in Older People. Hidden Worries. Here is a really surprising fact. Out of every 100 older people, up to 14 of them suffer from an anxiety disorder. That means it is incredibly common. But here's the problem. Because older generations often hide their worries and just don't talk about mental health, doctors easily miss it. They end up suffering quietly, all alone.
And the causes or risk factors are actually quite different depending on your age. Young people often get anxiety from family genes or the stress of school. But older people face very unique challenges. As their bodies age, having lots of physical illnesses makes them very worried about their health. Furthermore, as their friends pass away, they feel a deep, deep loneliness. This heartbreaking combination of physical pain and isolation is exactly what breaks their alarm system.
Finally, Section 6, how we treat anxiety. Fixing the alarm.
So, after hearing all of this, you might be asking, can we actually fix a broken alarm system?
Well, the answer is yes, we absolutely can. If you or someone you love feels this terrible worry, you do not have to suffer forever. Doctors have fantastic tools to help. Let's move to this and see how it builds. One really powerful tool is called talking therapy, or CBT. It works in 3 simple steps. First, you learn exactly how your fear alarm works. Second, you face your fear, but very slowly and safely. Like if you fear dogs, you might just start by looking at a picture of a dog to teach your brain there is no danger. And third, you practice changing your bad thoughts into healthy, positive thoughts.
Doctors also use medicine. So, how do these two compare? Well, talking therapy takes time, but it actually rewires your brain. It teaches you skills you can use for the rest of your life. Medicine, on the other hand, works very fast to calm a beating heart and relax the body right now. But the downside is that if you stop taking the medicine, the worries might come right back because the thoughts themselves haven't changed. Because of this, doctors often use both of them together to get the very best results.
Which leaves us with one final thought. If our brains can learn to be afraid, can we teach them to be brave again? The answer is a loud, resounding yes. Our minds are truly amazing. With the right help and patience, that broken alarm can absolutely be fixed, and we can get back to living a calm, happy life. Thank you so much for exploring this with me today.